future look fantastically relaxed and full of leisure and no more stress in the workplace? It's actually a yes or no question, but
we get a bit carried away with the technology question, and we forget that tradies matter, and they will continue to matter as long as our bowels continue to move. We're going to want people to take care of the pipes that take care of what comes out the other end. You know, this isn't life will have very messy human qualities to it, and I think we forget that too much at the moment. But also the idea of leisure time. Our most automated industry is the automotive industry, and despite everybody's predictions, it was a very small change in the actual amount of people who work in the industry. It's what they do that's changed so significantly. So it's not that we're all going to suddenly have lots of leisure time. Charles and I were talking about this before. That prediction was also around when we were younger, and we're demonstrably not working less. So I think that maybe we just get a little seduced by the new shiny and forget technology's an enabler, and being human persists.
Any questions on the floor?
Charles, you have a unique position where you've got an academic facility there, a bunch of academics that have, as you described, been in career for a long time. You also have a bunch of students that are working together and working in a different way. What's the greatest learning that you see in the juxtaposition of these two cohabiting in a similar environment?
I guess just everyone is challenged to see things in a new way, in a very simple sense. The academics are challenged by this new generation of students, who are in turn challenged by this kind of ancient generation of academics, in my case. But I mean, what's interesting about our program is that initially people focus on the technology again. They say, this is wonderful, we can do all these things with technology. But in my mind, ours is a kind of humanities program. It's actually, how are we going to live? You know, like, we can be creative, we can use technology. How are you going to live? And what are we going to do? How, what's important? What technology do you decide to use? And so I've started articulating it to the educational people as a kind of liberal technologies. Like liberal arts used to be, you go to university and have an education before you specialise, and I had this idea that ours was like, because technology is actually at the very core of our culture now, and so we need to understand it, but it doesn't mean we need to be kind of enslaved or enthralled to it.
Are you optimistic that what you're saying should happen is likely to happen?
I am. I am. All of my life before was getting access to a lot of interesting people, and you hear that the technology changes that are heading away at a pace that's unprecedented. Get access to some students who are coming through the system and being taught and getting access to things like CoLab. In Australia, we've got this thing called Bachelor of Creative Intelligence and Innovation. If I take a step back and look at the future, I think we're doing the changes now to start to get some of the things feeding what's ultimately going to be the new working environment. We're starting to do some things now to create the future that we think we're going to head towards. If you're looking at the future a little bit more pessimistically off the back of this, and if the report leaves you maybe thinking a little bit down, I would suggest The Second Machine Age, which is a book that came out a couple of years ago, I think. It is. It leaves you with very solid arguments into how we've got here, and some fantastic predictions into where we're going, but there's some real optimism about the role that we're going to play as humans and as societies in not only creating the future, but being a really important part of it. But some of the less exciting things will be done by smart machines.
Yeah, if I could just sort of add to that, I think that what's sort of a subtext here is that this new world order requires a real focus on what would have previously been looked at as the soft skills. And so in university environments, in work environments, absolutely, and it is optimistic. It's just, and actually, I'm optimistic for psychology. I see a real resurgence. Because we're going to have to learn communication skills. We're going to have to learn how to collaborate effectively across very diverse groups. We're going to have to learn to be good at being human. And so those things I think will work in parallel, and I see a real flowering of that in organisations like AUT as a space where people come to recognise that they are being educated in how to fall in love, how to work together, and how to do things other than get grades, but also recognising that grades are feedback. And we work for praise. I've been an academic for a long time, and we used to joke that, you know, the A+ is the best praise you can get for a good job done. So these things work together.
Machines don't respond to praise or cursing, do they? No matter how hard I seem to hit my computer, it doesn't perform any better. It's my pleasure to thank our guests. They are all open for business, so if you would like to engage with all three, AUT CoLab, String Theory with Jane and Accenture Digital with Dave, then please do grab them.